All right, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. So we've got Crystal with us today, and we're gonna sit down and talk to you guys about our best workout tips. So last week in our full day of eating vlog, we sat down in between meals and we answered some questions that we got from you guys, but we got so many more and there's still so many left unanswered that we thought it'd be worthwhile to do a whole video dedicated just to this.
So just to let you guys know, we're not fitness professionals, we're just regular old people that like to go to the gym. And so this video is mostly just on like our workout split, our schedule, just like commonly asked questions that I think a lot of you are interested in. And hopefully it gives you some tips and motivation to work out in a way that you love, but also take some pointers maybe from us.
So we just got back from the gym and we took a whole bunch of clips there that kind of go with the questions that we're gonna answer. And we've got a bunch of questions here, so we're gonna do this Q&A style. So let's get right into it. The first question we always get, and we did touch on this in the last video, but we'll go more in depth in it right now because I think it is worthwhile to talk about, is our workout split and our schedule. You guys know I like to implement a push-pull legs split, but I do have some little intricacies in there that are maybe helpful to you guys. So my first push workout, I focus mostly on chest. So you are gonna hit a little bit of triceps, a little bit of shoulders on a push day, but just to keep it nice and easy, I try to focus just on chest. And then on the first pull day, I focus mainly on back. And then on my second push day, that's where I focus on my shoulders and my triceps. And on the second pull day, I focus more on my biceps and on my rear delts. And then again, I'll just do like a leg day if I have the energy, and often by that 6th day in a row, I probably don't. So sometimes I'll just like go to the gym and just do like whatever is fun, or I'll just like go for a bike ride or hit the punching bag in the backyard or something like that. And that usually leads to me having like 1 or 2 active rest days throughout the week. So what about you, Crystal?
So I do 2 upper body days a week. I used to do a push-pull leg split very similar to Derek's, but then I started to incorporate kickboxing 2 or 3 times a week. So I like to go to kickboxing class. So what I end up doing is 2 upper body days usually a week, and often I will kind of like do like push-pull movements kind of combined in those days, and then I will do a lower body day, and then like I said, I'll usually do about 2 to 3 kickboxing workouts a week, and that usually leaves me with like 1 or 2 active rest days, and I just play it by ear.
Yeah, we'll just go on a bike ride or something like that.
So the next question is, do you plan your workouts?
Yeah.
So you go first.
So I mean, of course, I go into it knowing that a certain day is going to be a push day. So I do plan it a little bit. What I think about is on a push day, I think about hitting the different planes of motion. So I think about doing a push this direction, like push up overhead, and that could be like an overhead press or even pike push up or something like that. And then I think about, well, I'm going to want to push this way as well, and that's more like a push up or a bench press or something like that. And then, well, guess what? You're going to want to push down as well, and that's like a dip. And I'm sure there's other movements that you could push down with as well. And then towards the end of my workout, after I've done a bunch of compound movements, which are movements that are using more than one joint, so that's a compound movement. Bicep curl would be like an isolation movement. So then towards the end, when I get more tired, I move into more isolation work. So on a push day, like I mentioned, it might be something like, you know, doing something for my shoulders or something for my triceps, like a tricep push down, something like that. And then for a pull day, again, it's the same planes of motion. You can pull down this way, so that's like a pull up or a lat pull down. You can pull this way, that's like a seated row or an Australian row even. And then you probably want to be pulling like up on something, and that could be like a bent over row. And then again, towards the end of the workout, I will move into more isolation stuff. So I'll do, you know, things like bicep curls on a pull day or rear delt flies for my rear delts, obviously. And then as far as like leg day goes, I just try to hit like the big, don't laugh, Crystal knows that I don't love leg day.
Just tries to get in and get out.
Yeah, and I just try to do like the big movements that are gonna give me like the best results. So you guys know those are like, you know, squats, the hack squat, leg press. I like to make sure that I hit something for my hamstrings and my glutes, and that would be like the kickbacks here. And then you also don't want to forget about the calves, so I do some calf raises as well. And it's definitely not a strong suit of mine, but
you have such nice calves.
I should hit them more. Thank you, Crystal.
You have beautiful calves.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very nice.
So for me, I don't necessarily plan my workouts. Like when I get to the gym, I kind of have an idea like, oh, I'm gonna do like an upper body day or a lower body day, and then I've kind of gotten into the habit of doing like the same exercises consistently. So that's kind of helped me, and then learning a lot from Derek on the planes of motion that you kind of want to be working if you're doing like a push or a pull day, or at least if you're combining like push and pull movements.
Next question, do you train every day? Am I asking myself? Looking at me. I was asking you. You're supposed to answer after a question's asked.
No, we don't. We don't train every day.
I would
don't
say that we
train
do.
every day.
We're active every day.
We're active every day usually.
But not training for like hypertrophy or
Yeah.
strength or whatever.
No,
So
we're
you're
not
right.
going to the gym every single day.
No.
It's very rare that we have days where we like do nothing. But if we are active on like rest days, it's not like strenuous. It's just fun
Yeah,
movement. Like going
exactly.
for a bike ride is so fun. We laugh the whole time. Like we're just having the best time.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's like not hard on our body. It's just like active rest.
But I do think rest is super important.
sleep
like for
super important
Sleep
too.
super important, and then like having days where you're not like pushing weight is like
Yes.
important.
So the next question is, what was the biggest game changer for your fitness journey?
Ooh, yes, I know. I like this question because it made me think. I was like, there's
so
many
many.
little things along the way, right? But for me, I'll go first.
Yes.
I think the biggest game changer was learning about drop sets and like supersets. For me, that was just like the light bulb went off in my head and I was like, this is it. This makes so much sense. Like with supersets, I don't have to like sit and rest in between my sets. And then with drop sets, I was always wondering like, am I going too light with too many reps, or am I going too heavy and not getting in enough reps? But then when you do drop sets, you don't have to worry about it because you get it all. You get to do those heavy reps in the beginning, and then you can, either lighten the weight or take some weight off if you're doing like a weight added calisthenics, and then keep going. So you get the heavy weight, you get a lot of reps and everything like that. I absolutely love it. So for me, those were like the big game changers, and I definitely noticed some good gains after that.
And I think those are things that can help if anyone who watching this is in like a plateau or something.
Yes.
We've talked about this before, but those are like tips and tricks that can help maybe
totally.
level up if you're at a plateau, like change up the reps that you're doing, or do drop sets or supersets or like pyramid sets.
Yeah.
Like just changing that up can make a big difference.
So what do you think your biggest game changer was for your fitness journey?
I think the biggest thing that has helped me is incorporating more calisthenics into my workout routines.
Nice.
And I've talked about this a lot before, but specifically I would say like chin-ups, those pulling movements, especially getting to the point where I'm able to do like body weight chin-ups, has not only been something I'm really proud of,
Yeah.
it's taken me a while to get to that point, but it's something that has like completely changed the look of my back muscles and my posture, and just made me feel so much stronger. Like it's like actually kind of incredible. Sometimes I look at my back muscles, I'm like,
your back is
I'm like,
insane.
oh my gosh, what? Am I doing too many?
No, you
pull
look
movements?
amazing.
So that actually gets us into our next question, which is like, how did you get into calisthenics? Which is another question that we get asked a lot. And I think that you should go first because you're really the one that started this whole journey into calisthenics first.
It's cool. People often ask us. I actually asked a guy today at the gym, how did you get into calisthenics? Because I saw he pulled out some rings and he'd never used them before, and I was like,
like on the team.
yeah, what gets you into this, Yeah, it's neat because you wonder, right? It's like, why did you start doing this? Because lifting weights is just like so easy. You just go to the gym and you just do all the machines. It's like,
but then you're bringing your own equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool to see the rings come out because I feel like we're the only ones that usually bring them. So
Yeah, I
I'm like,
know.
oh goodness, yay, someone else.
So I got into calisthenics kind of out of necessity because I was broke and I couldn't afford a gym membership, and I wanted to make some gains. So when I was jogging a lot at the time, and I just started to like look at different branches and be like, I could start doing some pull-ups on there and maybe make some arm gains. So I started to do that, and then I'd start more of my runs started turning into calisthenics, and I was like, holy crap, there's actually really something to this. So that's what originally got me into it. And then when I started like learning the skills and stuff, it becomes addicting to like learn front levers, pull-ups, as muscle ups. And I just wanted to keep progressing at that. And so that's why. And I love that it's always with you. Like you're on vacation and it's like, well, I'm just going to do my calisthenics workout. I mean, sometimes you have to find a pull-up bar or something, but you can always do something.
So for me, I got into calisthenics basically just from watching Derek. I mean, how can you not? You watch this like really strong man do something cool and you're like, I want to do that. The problem is that it took me quite a few years to kind of get into calisthenics, is because I looked at Derek doing these movements and I was like, I'm never going to be that strong. Especially as a woman, I'm like, there's no way I can do anything like that. And then I got some resistance bands. And then I have Derek's help to kind of make sure I'm having like good form. And then I was eventually able to build my strength up. And it took a while. And so that's kind of how I got into calisthenics. And it actually is funny that I talked about form, because that's actually our next question. Like, how do you even know if you're using correct form? Because that's like so important when you're working out, right?
Yes. Great. Good question. And it is super important because like you see a lot of people at the gym who don't necessarily, know what they're doing. And I always wanted tell, but you can't tell them. You gotta just be quiet.
But then you kind of, I'm like, sometimes I'm even like, am I doing this right? You know?
Yeah, so what could we do to figure that out? Well, one thing that I really like to do is to set up my camera and film myself, not just for my Instagram, but also to see what my form looks like. So it's a really good way, and we all have, cameras with us on our phones nowadays, so it's a really good way to tell what your form looks like. And usually you can just tell by looking if you're doing it right or wrong. And if you don't, you could always compare it to like a, video online or something like that of somebody who's doing it properly. That's one of my favorite ways to do it. But another way, you could just ask somebody at the gym. And I know I've had people come up to me before and be like, hey, can you tell me how my form looks on this deadlift or on my pull-ups or whatever? And I always think like, wow, first of all, it's like flattering that they ask me because they think I know, but second of all, I think that's really, really cool to do because, it's like if you trust someone at the gym, it's really nice to ask for their opinion.
For some exercises, when I'm just starting them or I've just done them once, I will be like, can you come over and just make sure I'm doing this right? And sometimes for exercises you've been doing for a while, like recently I was doing assisted dips and I asked Derek like, hey, do these look good? And he was like, oh, you know what? Actually, your elbows kind of go in a little bit. Like they shouldn't do that. And I was like, what? So he filmed me, showed me, and then now I've been able to like correct that. Because you don't want to get into like bad patterns of movement.
A really quick tip though, to know if you're using good form is what I like to do is actually like look at the muscle and think about shortening and lengthening it. I know this
like mind-muscle connection.
Yes, exactly. And think about, so with the bicep curl, you're trying to have the bicep go from long to as short as you can, right? So this is going to be like your range of motion. So that's what you're going to want to work out. And you're not going to want to move this because that's working your shoulder now, right? So you don't want to curl like this. You just want to that one motion. And then the same with your shoulder. You could look at your outer delt here and you'd be like, hey, how can I make this go from long to short? Oh, that way. So then you're going to want to do lateral raises.
So understanding range of motion is really important.
That's important,
Yeah. Smart. Look at us.
Yeah,
I feel like I just learned something. So what's the next question?
Pre-workout recommendation for someone sensitive to caffeine. So a lot of the stimulant-free pre-workouts focus on the pump or like the like your blood flow.
Right.
So that's why things like beetroot crystals is one that is my favorite are so good because they increase. I can't get to focus, but they increase the amount of blood flow. There's a ton of reasons why you might want to take.
Talked about it.
You guys know
have a video
already.
on beetroot.
So you guys don't need to know,
but it's a good one.
Citrulline malate is another really good one to help with increasing like blood flow, and it definitely works. And it's nice that it's like a standalone ingredient, so you could just like mix it up with just anything. You don't have to have all the other sweeteners and everything to it, and it tastes fine. It's just like a little bit like sour, I guess it is. And then also another one I really love to have, and shameless little plug here, but this Sustain by Vivo Life, and this stuff is it's EAAs. So you guys know of BCAAs, branched chain amino acids. Well, it turns out that having more than just 3 amino acids is actually better. Having all the essential amino acids is optimal. So that's what they've done here, and it's all vegan and everything. But honestly, when I have it on an empty stomach, I feel freaking amazing throughout my workouts, and I recover well. Like if I don't have it, and then I have a hard leg day, my legs are crushed. But if I do have it, my legs are slightly less crushed. What?
You had it yesterday and you can walk today.
I can walk today. It's a miracle.
That is a miracle. Look at you. Look at you.
Yes, Lord. And then another one that a lot of people don't think about are cordyceps. And they're very energizing. They contain ATP, which is the energy currency of the cell. And they're actually quite energizing, but not stimulating. All right, so the only food-related question in the whole video. Do you focus on amount of protein with your workout routine? So I think this person's asking if we focus on our protein intake.
Yeah, like track protein, or if protein is like the ultimate thing that we focus on.
No, we don't track our macros. We don't really track our protein. However, we do consider it quite a bit. And I think that's kind of a good way to do it. So we just focus on getting a high protein source at each meal, whether that be tofu, tempeh, a scoop of protein powder, beans, lentils is one of our favorites. So if we just focus on getting one of those at each meal, and then just eat good food for the rest of the meal. I mean, what else can you do unless you just want to eat just straight tofu or just straight lentils
all day every day.
Yeah, what are you gonna do, right? So that's really how we do it, and I don't think it's held us back at all or anything. And
a lot of people focus a lot on protein. I think there's a point when protein isn't protein's important. Very important, especially when you're eating a plant-based diet. You should be eating higher protein foods. Very, very important. But it's probably not a limiting factor for most people like they think it is.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people stress out about protein. I hear so many people, I want to go vegan, but I just don't know how I would hit my macros. And it's well, why don't you just try going vegan, forget about your macros for a while, and see how it goes. If you're just trying to get in as much protein as you can at every single meal all the time, you're eating a bunch of fake meats and just tons of protein powders, and you know, it's not going to be good for you long term. So, you know, you got to consider that. All right, and then the last question. This is a good one, and maybe the most important one here, because I think consistency is more important than any of the minutia. So how do you like that word?
I like it.
I learned it from Ritual.
Oh.
Yeah. How do you stay committed to exercise and health? So, my main...
You're like, my main thing was cute.
So for me, it's important to have a purpose, or to like know your why. That is what keeps me going, keeps me consistent. So for instance, like when I first started nutrition consulting and coaching, I was eating a vegan diet and I wanted to promote that. And I had a lot of people would come to me and say, hey, that diet might work for you, but I want to be more muscular. I don't necessarily want to look like a runner. And, you know, no offense to anyone who looks like a runner out there. I think runners look great. But I understood that, you know, guys, they want to put on muscle and they don't think that you can do it on a vegan diet. So I knew that that was going to be a roadblock. I said, I don't even want this to be a question. I want people to just look at me and have that question answered. So then I started to like build muscle, and I was hell bent on building muscle to show that it could be done. And I know I'm not the first to do it or anything like that, and obviously not the best or the biggest, but that was important for me. And it continues to be one of my purposes to this day. Like I'm not like sitting there being like, oh, I'm gonna prove everyone wrong, show that vegans can build muscle, but you know, it just feels good to be
a good representation and you're healthy, and
exactly.
And it's also nice to look good too.
It is nice to look good. You know, I feel good in clothes when I fill them out. I'm a small guy in general, you know, so I do feel a little bit, you know, good being a little bit, you know, bigger and stuff. And it also just has like tons of health benefits. Yes. And I know this, and I know that for bone density, it's super important, for mobility as you age, for your, like, you know, your head, your emotions. It releases so many good endorphins and digestion. Like, there's just endless benefits. So for me, that, like, yeah, it's just like, there's no questions. I'm going to be active and work out. Yeah. Right. There's no reason not to. No, but what about you? How do you stay so committed to your health and exercise?
So I really enjoy what I do. I think we both enjoy going to the gym and, you know, weightlifting and doing calisthenics. And so if you don't enjoy what you're doing, then it's gonna be really hard to stay committed to health and exercise if you just like don't like it. So finding something that you really genuinely enjoy, and that's gonna look different for everyone, will help you stay committed. Yeah. And I know for me personally as well, like the community aspect of doing things, like, you know, going to the gym and saying hi to everyone and like seeing other people there and that kind of thing is also really motivating. I really like the community aspect of all that kind of stuff.
That's a big part for you.
So that's probably the two biggest reasons why I stay so committed to like exercise and like health in general.
Nice. Yeah. That's sweet. All right, so I think that's probably it for this video. We are at the end of our questions, but if you guys have any more, put them in the comments section down below and we'll either get to them there or maybe use them for another video. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you got something out of it. And thank you, Crystal, for being involved in video. It's always fun when you're in it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like the video, and we'll see you guys soon with another one. Bye-bye.